Welcome to Salt Lake City, Utah. Beautiful shot of the state capitol here in Salt Lake, ready for some Big 12 women's hoops. And we're up inside the Huntsman Center as Utah Utes come in with a 3-game win streak, taking on the Boise State Broncos. Hi everybody, glad you could be with us. I'm Krista Blank alongside the all-time winningest coach here in women's hoops, Elaine Elliott. And Elaine, Boise State comes in with a fairly experienced team against a Utah team that continues to gain experience.
You know, these two teams look virtually identical on paper, so maybe it's the differences tonight that'll matter. Boise State knows how to win games with their seniors. That's their key. Utah's played a much tougher preseason schedule, playing both number 20 Washington and number 1 UConn. And for them, I think that's really helped in their preparation.
I think you're right. It's helping their young team gain experience, especially at the point guard spot. How about L.A. Sneed in her last start?
You know, she is starting to catch up with the Division I game. Her stats over the last 3 games tell the same story, not to mention this big game she had against Colorado State just the other day. During that stretch of 3, she was shooting 44% from the field, 50 from 3, and just honestly, impressively has had a 3-to-1 ratio of assists to turnovers.
Yeah, she's really starting to get a feel for this level. And on the other side, we mentioned the experience of Boise State, the senior class in particular, really tough to stop.
Well, you can see it. Look at those numbers for those 3 kids. Thompson first and foremost, certainly leading scorer, leading rebounder, all of them averaging over 14 points a game. They just need to stay healthy and play a lot of minutes.
Yeah, a team that has 4 players hitting over 40% behind the arc for the head coach, Gordy Presnell, in his 21st season, running things for the Boise State Broncos. No postseason last year, but they have typically been a team to get there. And with this experience this year, high expectations for this group that came back. And on the other side for the Utes, a little bit of a younger squad for Gavin Peterson in his 2nd season, taking over the reins here in Utah. And his team making it to the first round of the NCAAW tournament last year with just 3 seniors, 4 freshmen. He's got a nice mix of both experience and youth. These two teams have met up 13 times. This will be number 14, and it's Utah that's been in control. Just 1 win for the Broncos. That was way back in December of 1991. And for the Utes, they do very well here at home. They do not want to break that trend, Elaine. They want to keep the streak going.
They do not. Let's see what happens. This should be a good one.
Tip is up, and it goes to the Broncos, donning the new black unis here on the road. I like it with the royal blue trim. Utah in the home whites. Utah coming off of a couple of road wins at Montana, at Colorado State, another Mountain West foe, as that one won't go. Starting lineups for the Utes. 2nd start for L.A. Sneed. Of her career, got the start in the last game at Colorado State, and a good win for the Utes on the road.
Well, it's a miss on both ends. I guess the turnover, that's not good news to start a game for either team. So, you know, the Utes have had some problems with that as well. We're going to have to see if they can keep those numbers down tonight.
Quick passing, the working around, the offensive rebound, another chance for the Broncos.
Well, I do think it's one of the keys for the Broncos, honestly. They have much better offensive rebounding numbers than Utah does, and we saw early just then that they can take advantage of that to get more possessions.
Yeah, too many chances for the Broncos. They score first. They come in averaging just 6 threes a game, but they shoot at 39% out there. Both teams will want to look for the perimeter shots, but if you're Utah, the capability of maybe running against this Broncos team is a shot clock down to 3. Sneed's got to recognize. And maybe 1 too many passes, still 1 second on the shot clock.
Well, that's an awful short clock. That's only going to leave you a tip in, actually. I guess you'll have time just to catch. They'll give them a catch and shoot.
Good defense by the Broncos, not letting Wilkie have a good look. And we should mention again, there's just a couple players that have been out, but Brooke Walker in particular, who started the season as the starting point guard, she has been out, and they're hoping to get her back sooner than later.
Yeah, it's going to be a little tough for as long as they're waiting for her to get healthy. LA is a freshman. She's taken over the starting spot, but her stamina is probably one of her weaknesses still as a freshman, learning how to play hard for periods of time and a continued game. So we'll have to see what they do behind LA in terms of the substitution patterns.
5'6" freshman out of San Antonio. Let's take a look at your essentials. What do these teams need? What's Utah have to do in this one?
Well, I think that they've got to play defense at 3 levels, because the Boise State Broncos are the first ones that come in really wanting to shoot at all 3 levels, 3 jump shots and at the rim. And the 3-point shooting for the U is going to be a key. Boise State, as we've already seen, controlling the boards for them will be a key. They are capable of that. It's a strength, and that will give them the possessions they need to be competitive. And the big 3 that we mentioned early on, they will need to go big, because they are the 3 players that I think that they lean on heavily night after night.
Bucket at the other end was Evans. Gets Utah on the board, but the hot hand to start, Maya Hansen.
Back-to-back 3s from the point guard.
Very capable, obviously. 45% shooter beyond the arc. That was her 3-ball number 10 and 11 on the season, as White on the drive gets it knocked out of play.
Well, Boise State really does have 4 of those 5 starters are great 3-point shooters percentage-wise. Hansen is just as good percentage-wise as the 2 that get all the notice, which is Pasco and Pasco and Tom and Bays. But you know, she's just it's tough when you got to defend at 4 spots at the 3-point line, 4 spots, 5 spots sometimes at the jump shooting, because it's an interesting difference between this team when they're starting. They've got all these forwards. They're all very well-rounded players. They all can pass, they all can shoot, they can all dribble. They don't have a true post on the floor. So Utah will have to go right there where they just did to their inside post game to take advantage of a big, as compared to the other option, which is to try to match them size-wise and go small sometimes.
Multiple defenders on Evans inside. That one around and more drop for the Broncos. A break for the Utes as they try to push Wilkie way outside, but tipped away, and Reese comes up with it. Sneed, the quickness, skip all the way across. Wilkie, open look, raises the iron. They're going to stay right here, they'll say, as I thought Evans maybe was going to get called on that one.
I have a hard time with, I have a really hard time with some of the rebounding calls. They don't call many, and then they call it when obviously the smaller kid backed into the big kid, and then gets the over-the-top call. She leaned over the top of her, so if you don't see the first part of the play, you don't see it as a clean checkout, you don't see that there's some displacement, then it usually goes against the big kid over the top.
Not this time. White, good read, and it's blocked once again. Thought she had the open layup. I think she did as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm not sure that I saw the block, but it must have been, hopefully, because it wasn't close.
Maybe got a piece of it. 0 for the last 5, Utah on a scoring drought. Neither team lighting it up so far. 6:20 in the first quarter. Reese Ross got popped in the mouth.
I think the officials are going to let them play tonight, looking at this start to the game.
The corner, and that one goes down. Avery Jomstad, freshman out of Edmond, Oklahoma, come off the career high off the bench. 22 points in that win at Colorado State.
She's really coming on. You know, defensively at this end, I think one of the keys is the matchup that we saw in the possession before this, which is Reese Ross on Thompson. You know, Reese has the size and she has the agility to stay with a player like Thompson. And that play that we saw, which is a good defensive play for her, she didn't get the offensive call, but she also didn't, you know, they let him play. And so that's a good matchup and one that we need to watch all night.
The assist to White at the other end. A good look across. Ooh, I thought there was a double dribble. Yep, there sure was.
Yeah, there was.
Oh, nope, I thought there was a whistle. They're playing on.
An uncalled double dribble.
Backing in, trying to lay it up. Long tip. And Utah a chance to push. White the pull up, gets it to go. First points for Lonnie White.
Well, they like to push tempo, and I think it's going to be important for them to do that, especially to try to keep their starting lineup on the bench just a little longer, having to recover with the pace of the game.
I think you're right. This is a Boise State team that comes in, a close win against California Baptist, and they were run out of the gym, but they got to the free throw line. They did so many other things that made up the difference, but only 4 fast break points for them in that one. And whistle and a foul.
Who's the foul on?
Yeah, I think it's going to be on Ross. So Reese Ross, that's her second, and that's tough to take this early on in this first quarter.
Well, it's really going to be a problem. I mean, Reese is so important defensively, and especially against Thompson. And the one thing that they need to do is stay off of the fouls. She didn't get either one of them in shooting situations, so that's pretty unfortunate.
Utah with the 1-point lead, their first lead of the game, and I think an appeal has been asked by the Utes and that foul call. We'll take the timeout. More in the first quarter after this.
I guess a common foul even.
Yep, they leave it as a common foul. They do not elevate it, so that's a break for Reese Ross, but still her second personal to pick up this early.
Yeah, that's a tough foul. I mean, if this one's questionable whether she got her arm, and she just came down in a space that wasn't available to her because of where the defender comes in. I'm not.
Yeah.
I guess that a
little extra at the end there maybe, but I don't think it was intentional whatsoever.
No, I'm glad that they didn't make any kind of elevation of that. That's good.
So Utah with their first lead of the game, 5 minutes left, first quarter. And both teams have been on a bit of a scoring drought. 2.5 for the Broncos. Low scoring affair so far. Both teams come in averaging about 70 plus a game. Skip out, Hutton, short, she knew it, follows her shot, another chance. Offensive rebounding opportunities and making them pay. That's Tatum Thompson with the bucket.
Yes, that's a key. If Boise State can do that to Utah, then they've got a chance without a doubt. It's a little disappointing to see such a lack of effort on the outside. They're all watching one kid try to rebound the ball.
Lonnie White, though, feeling it. Gets the lead back to the Utes. But you're right, defensively, it's tricky because Broncos just spot up way outside, but Lonnie feeling it here tonight.
Well, the first rebounder and the first, she gets the first contact. After that, it's a loose ball, and Utah has to come up with loose balls. And with Boise State coming up with that kind of a rebound, they're showing a little just better intensity and better interest.
Emily Howard, 2 in black, is checked in. Redshirt junior out of Vancouver, British Columbia, and then an offensive foul call against Boise State. Sneed's going to bring it up. White with 5 points, make it 7. 3 of 5 shooting from the floor, and then Sneed almost the steal. Thompson off the iron, big rebound from Crisp.
One of the things that Gavin had to say about this week's practice, one of the players that he singled out was Sam Crisp, and that's exactly why. She has been rebounding as well as anyone on the team, and I think that the minutes that she's been getting have really made a difference because of her defensive rebounding efforts.
Well, and they certainly need her to be. She's the 6'2" senior. I think she's got much more length than 6'2", it feels like anyway. As there's another 3, that's Natalie Pasco, senior out of Danville, California.
They are a very nice shooting team.
Yeah, Pasco averaging 14 points a game, and that's her 23rd 3 on the season, shooting at 48% behind the arc. You better know where she is out there. Sneed, the mismatch, and she hits it. Nothing but net for LA Sneed. Her first points of the game. Uh-oh, back at you, says Pasco.
The game of basketball, every time you answer, you keep yourself in the game.
Izzy Harms is checked in, freshman out of Eugene, Oregon. Number 7 for the Broncos. 2.5 left, first quarter. Evans misses that one. Mid-range jumper, I like it. Tatum Thompson. You don't see it that much anymore, Elaine, because it's all about the 3, but...
You're right, you're right. And this team, Boise really has a nice mid-range game.
Yeah.
And that's their best jump shooter, but they'll all take it. And they've been very effective at it. And right now, honestly, the pace is in their favor. They've been more successful in the transition game than Utah has.
Which they were concerned about, as that one won't go for Evans, and now they'll try to push. They get a beautiful look outside. Harms with the 3 ball. This is just her second made 3 on the season. But good timing for her, and the lead up to 4.
just a really nice stretch for Boise State.
An 8-0 run for the Broncos, and that is stopped by L.A. Snead. And both teams ready to bring multiple players in off the bench, but they haven't had a lot of stoppage. Lefty look there won't go for Howard. The only transfer in for the Broncos this year, Emily Howard, the transfer from Liberty. Defense doesn't come out. Jomstad takes advantage.
But so far, the weakness of Utah has been right at the rim. I don't think they've finished any of the opportunities they've had close. And it's one of the things, you know, I'd like to see them get some improvement in the options at the rim. I mean, they're very much in a rhythm type of shot, which is easy to block from behind and any other space. You know, they're not showing a lot of ability to just shot fake, gather themselves, get a defender coming down on top of them. And you know, you've got to finish in the paint to really give yourself a nice, well-balanced attack.
Pretty good look there for Jomstad outside.
Both teams look a little tired right
look
now.
a little winded.
They're taking a little bit of a chance to slow down. The subs have been there for a while now at the bench.
And they're just sitting and waiting as this clock's winding down as well. About a 7-second differential shot clock, game clock, first quarter winding down, and a miscue and saved by the Utes. Can they get the lead back? Jomstad, shot short, and that will do it. Back and forth, the lead changes were happening. We are all tied up, 19 apiece going in. Second quarter from Salt Lake after this. First quarter in the books, all tied up between Boise State and the Utah. Utah's a Bronco fan in the house. Crystal Blanc alongside the Utah Athletics Hall of Famer. You know, Elaine Elliott is also part of the Boise State Hall of Fame. Let's take a look back. Let's do a flashback here. Look at that form. I like it. I like it.
You
a
know
lot.
what? That's a nice follow through.
It is.
I gotta say.
That's good follow through.
I don't know what the left hand's doing, but it's getting out of the way. It's out of the way.
It's out of the way.
It's not the best picture, but anyway, yeah.
Four-year starter. It's pretty special. You got a lot of ties with this program. You started your coaching career in Boise as well.
I did. A couple years at the high school, and yeah, it was a great place. The people at the school, university, my coaches and player teammates, and I mean, I loved my years there, and I can't say enough about the people.
Well, Gordy knew who the heck you were when you walked over, let me tell you. So, but that's pretty cool. And you were a field hockey player as well, which I don't know that I knew that.
Yeah, you know, in those days there was about 10 of us that, you know, played women's sports, so we had to play everything. Yeah. So we did. You know, I played 4 sports.
Wow.
There weren't enough women playing college athletics then. The field team, so we kind of were the all-arounds.
Well, the school still has a basketball team now, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, it stuck around.
They got a pretty good one.
Field hockey went to the wayside.
All tied up, second quarter underway. Fresh legs on finally. Grace Foster's checked into the game for the Utes, 10 and white. And good second effort and the cleanup inside. That's Cameron Mafua who's checked into the game. Just her 6th game, the sophomore, and the transfer from Cal.
Well, it's nice to see a substitute come in. Cameron hasn't had the most minutes, but that's the way you make a difference in a game, is coming in. Nobody else really has been on the offensive boards for Utah, and Cameron comes in with her first effort on the glass and gets that putback, which is those kinds of things are going to be the difference in games with a team like Utah, we never know who's going to make the big night for Utah. They're not a 2 or 3 team, you know, kid high percentage and high points per game. So it's kind of equal opportunity, and it's nice to see someone like Cameron get in and make a play right off the bat.
I'm guessing that could be a little frustrating for a coach, but at the same time, you're not an easy team to scout if you don't know who's going to have the hot hand.
Well, it's true with that. You don't always know, but you got your. Having a team like Utah that really is deep.
The player's under review for timing malfunction.
We're going to take a timeout after taking a look at the monitor. We'll be back to Salt Lake after the break. You're watching Big 12 women's basketball on ESPN+. Band inside the Huntsman Center, and we had a clock malfunction, so the officials.
After review, the clock froze for 13 seconds.
Guess they
it has
needed
now been
to
properly adjusted to 8:46 and 11 seconds.
Time that.
On the shot clock.
Yep. Break it down. So
make the correction.
Utah's ball on the side.
So Utah will have it. 8:46 on the game clock, 11 on the shot clock.
Well, it's been interesting because Boise State's flipped the script on the three-pointers this game in terms of how many.
Yeah.
Not many teams, if any, have shot more than Utah. And at this rate, Boise State's looking to shoot about 40 tonight. So we'll see. We'll see if Utah can press out a little bit more and force them to go into a post game a little bit.
Well, they've definitely pushed the pace, the Broncos have, and they've gotten themselves set up at times before the D's gotten back, and so they're not afraid to shoot it quickly. Bays has been kind of quiet, number 4, one of their leaders on this team. There's Bays right there, the fake, drives it up, tries to get the foul, doesn't get it. Oh, and saved right underneath. And that's a break for Utah there that the Broncos didn't capitalize on.
Well, they didn't, but they certainly have the effort plays that Utah's not making. That's a loose ball down there that they find possession of and give themselves another chance to score. Unfortunately for them, they missed the layup, but that kind of effort is going to be the difference in a close game.
But Maddie Wilkie with the push, and it was Otto on the weak side. She gets the and one and goes to the free throw line. Evelina Otto, the freshman from Latvia, a couple points for her in this one and a rebound.
One of the things that seems evident tonight, at least, is that Gavin's bench is rebounding a lot better for him than his big starters. You know, Kyra is such a nice player. I just want her to have a little bit more in the effort category and the stamina and just making plays with the size that she should be making around the rim.
Yeah, missed last season. There's another 3 for the Broncos. That's their 6th make.
Wow. That is hot from 3.
And that's their average. They average about 6 threes a game.
And I'm just going to be honest that shooter wasn't even on my scouting report. So, yeah.
There you go.
Getting quite an addition to this game effort is Gordy from his bench.
Josie Stedman had the last one. She was 0 for 2 behind the arc coming into the game. I guess that's why she wasn't on your scout. Taking advantage, though, of the minutes here. There's Stedman.
Yeah, I mean, if you're open, you can make it. She was.
Senior. Yep, sure was. Her 6th game of the season. That might get her some more playing time. As Otto gets clocked up top, trying to fight through the screen up high. And the foul going to go against the Broncos. And it's Kira Thompson.
Well, I just really think that the energy award so far has to go with the Broncos.
Yeah.
They're just working hard in all areas of the game. And I think that part of that is they're getting great addition to the game from their bench right now, and that's a plus, at least from what you would think about in terms of those 3 kids, that senior class, the kind of minutes they play.
Yeah.
Tonight, their bench has really been effective.
Beautiful pick and roll. White and the patience to wait until Otto got down there gets it to her. As the Broncos continue to push it up, trying to get a quick 3, that one won't go. And there's that long rebound come flying in with the board. That's Hutton. She's going to stay down there. Lost it momentarily, tries to take it in. And Mafua was right there.
Well, I think we're going to see an increase in the offensive rebounding, and the numbers are going to look a little bit better than they did early on for Boise State, because right now they just are coming up with the ball anytime it's 50-50.
Well, they've had good spacing. They've really spread it out, and they've just been flying in with those long rebounds. Oh, there's a nice look from Mafua outside. Karen Mafua taking advantage of her minutes right now. The transfer from Cal on a timeout.
Yeah, she's giving them some good minutes.
Utah with their largest lead of the game, up by 7. And a 10-3 lead this quarter.
Picture perfect pick and roll.
And that time, instead of rolling, Mafua stays outside. And so it almost looked like an identical play.
Yeah,
and
they set the on-ball screen, and on the first one, she plays the pick and roll game, and on the second one, she plays the pick and pop game and hits the 3. And that is as good as it gets in terms of what you want to be able to do off an on-ball screen within your offense, the options that you have based on the talents that you have to run that kind of an action in your offense.
These are the numbers for Utah as far as three-point shooting goes this year. We're saying very similar to the Broncos, but there's a couple of little areas that are a bit different, and Utah tends to be the team that takes more threes, but tonight so far, it's been the Broncos.
Yeah, the Broncos have looked like the Utes in terms of being very willing to take the first early open three that they find.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen as much of that in some of the preseason games that I've watched, but they certainly shoot the ball well enough to be a high attempt team and to commit to that.
Foul against Utah. It'll put Danny Bays to the stripe. It's going to go against Mafua, her first. And the team's first. Bays, a senior out of Brisbane, Australia.
It's an unusual miss because they're very good at the free throw line.
And Bays shooting from the floor tonight, 0 for 5 and 0 for 3 behind the arc. And she comes in lane shooting 46% and 43% behind the arc. She's had an off outing, but the rest of her team's been picking her up.
They really have. They have had some additional three-point baskets tonight from sources that I don't think they generally have to rely on.
Otto and White have a great connection tonight, and this time it's White with the layup. The assist from Otto. Good movement without the ball for the Utes. And a 7-0 run for Utah. Thompson trying to lose the defensive Foster, and White almost the steal. Shot clock to 5. And fading away, good D by Utah to force the Broncos, and then not the pass they needed, as hanging out was Thompson. Almost a takeaway.
Well, they did luck out. Utah lucked out on that one. Again, but it's just a nice effort play by Boise State.
Sure is. Scrappy team. Senior laden, and big expectations for them. Picked 4th in the preseason in the Mountain West, as White couldn't get the angle on the layup. Boise State one more season in Mountain West play, and then they're moving to the Pac-12. As that's a quick shot from Pasco, no good. And a whistle inside, as I think Otto got popped in the mouth. See if we can see it here. Oh, it's the ball. Interesting.
I'm not sure if it was a check. You know, I mean, I expected a foul actually on the checkout. I mean, I thought that the defender was not the defender, not on Evelina, but anyway.
They called a foul on Garza, her first, but it really looked like it was the ball. 7-0 run continues for Utah. Trying to find a way to add to it. The high pick roll. Here's White. Shot clock to 2. Wilkie's got to recognize she does. And a big stop by the Broncos there.
Good defensive stop by the Broncos.
They continue to push. Oh, that one did everything but drop for Pasco. Hustle play.
Gosh.
Almost a steal.
Oh.
And Maddie Wilkie is down and in pain.
Wow. Wow. You hate to see somebody come up hurt in a situation that it was a foul. It was a good effort, you know, by Boise State. I mean, she went for that steal, but you see where the contact was.
And Wilkie was kind of grabbing the right shoulder.
No call.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's Danny Bays that came flying in.
Well, that's a tough no call, and I sure don't want to see a kid get hurt. Period. That's, let's see.
I have to say that's a surprise.
Wow.
I know she was going for the steal, but a lot of contact prior to even getting close to the balls. Wilkie's trying to work through it. This crowd just saw the replay.
Yeah, I don't blame her. I mean, the only thing that I'm going to say in defense of, again, the effort, the better effort was on the defender.
Sure.
Maddie went for the ball pretty lackadaisically, and so there was a seam there, and the defender really went through it with aggression, tried to get the loose ball. There was contact enough for a foul, but it's been it's been a pretty loose game, and you know, nobody's one way or the other, so that's been the style of the game in terms of the officiating.
Bays averages 16 points a game. She's had 20-point games back-to-back in double figures 4 in a row. She's yet to score tonight. It's been a tough night for her as far as scoring goes, but she'll take it. Nope, they're going to call a travel instead. Wipe away an assist there. And over 4 minutes, a scoring drought for the Broncos. Utah scoring drought of their own. The 7-0 run has been there for quite some time, as they're going to say and one for LA Sneed.
There is quite a bit of contact. You know, it's sort of heightening a little bit now, and I do hope the officials, you know, kind of step in a bit here and make some calls that they were letting go early. I thought it was fine early to establish a good physical game, and it wasn't taken away from anybody. But we don't want to see it get out of hand either. So anyway, I thought that was a good call.
Yep. Yeah, there were no free throws in the first quarter, and there haven't been many here, as Utah, though, gets that one. They're 2 for 2 from the stripe. Boise 0 for 2. With 3.5 left, first half. Largest lead of the ball game for the Utes, and a 10-0 run. Bay's shot won't go. Kyra Evans is going to check back in.
Well, we'll see here in the last 3:17 if Kyra's rested and if she can make an impact, because I thought those two kids off the bench, Evelina and Cameron, really made a difference in the second quarter.
Freshman Jada Lewis checked in, trying to stick with freshman LA Sneed, and Sneed wins that battle.
I thought that was a little bit of a tough take against the big, and Sneed just finished it effectively.
10 points for Sneed, the only player in double figures on either side, and squaring up and sticking it. Kenna Garza with the 3-ball. Just her second made 3 of the season. 1 for 6 coming into this one. The freshman out of Pocatello, Idaho.
Yeah, there's been some bench play tonight.
Green light for everybody behind the arc, apparently.
Indeed, right.
Evans able to hang on. Lefty layup is good. There's a much-needed bucket out there by Garza. Stop the run of the Utes. Hand off to Thompson. Baseline jumper won't go, and a good job boxing out by Utah. And the D losing their footing. White with the finish. This pace favoring the Utes now, as Boise State continues to try to make the push. That one won't go for Pasco. White gives it up to Sneed. Off the iron, long rebound. And high off the glass and good. Jumstad with the bucket.
It's nice to see Avery with an offensive rebound, because I do believe that she has very few of those this year. It's one of the parts of her game that I really want to see improve. I mean, she has great size. There's no reason for her not to get comfortable going with a little bit more intensity to the offensive glass.
Yeah, it was good instincts on the weak side, and she gets the bucket.
Nice cut and a nice pass. One of the things that I think Boise State is just really good at is their passing to cutters. Their movement off the ball is really good. Most of their dribble drive action to the rim and to the paint is it's under control. The ball is moving forward, but it's not out of control, and they really have a lot of options, and they're good passers off the dribble because they have such a nice controlled pace. And that's just an example there of how well they move without the ball and how good they are as a passing team to cutters, because on the dribble they're a little more smooth than they are explosives. And I say that with a lot of respect. It's only sort of classically not explosive, very athletic, but very smooth with the basketball.
Struggles from the free throw line, though. This is a solid free throw shooting team, coming in at 74%. Pasco in particular, 81% free thrower, but can't get those. White steps it up, sticks it, nothing but net. Threes continue. That's the 5th for the Utes tonight. Second for White. She's got 11 points. 13 after that one. So 2 Utah players in double figures as this first half is winding down.
Good effort on Lonnie's part. You really are never going to get that call on a screener unless you're willing to hit him and make it evident that the screener is not legal and is sliding into you. And if you're not willing to take that hit, you'll never get that call.
Mason Borcherding, the freshman out of Parker, Colorado. Her first personal. No hesitation there from Jumstad. The rebound to Foster, good hustle, another chance. 8-0 Utah run. Largest lead of the game for the Utes. Trying to add to it, and they do. Nice look, high to low. Foster will get the assist.
Really nice passing angle. That make that one more pass. It's not Sneed trying to make a pass inside.
And that stops the 10-0 run. The layup by Lewis. And then a takeaway on the inbound. Back-to-back buckets for Lewis. Nice hustle from Izzy Harms. So maybe a little momentum to take in here at halftime for the Broncos.
Well, a nice bit, nice stop for that.
Utah.
Yeah, I mean, a nice end for them because obviously the one thing that they've just really outplayed Utah, and that's in the intensity and effort game. And plays like that are an example. The inbounder just steps out and is lackadaisical with the inbound pass, and the defender just uses that, again, just an effort play.
Utah hitting 7 of their last 9 from the floor to help them extend this lead out. 46-29 here at halftime. And we bring in the head coach of the Utes, Gavin Peterson. And Gavin, a pretty close game there, and then your team was finally able to get out and push the tempo a little bit more. What did you see that helped you kind of extend the lead?
I basically, during the media timeout and in between quarters, wrote the word decide. We have to decide what type of team we want to be. We have to decide, are we ready to compete and play a good team on our home floor? When we decide to do things, we're a pretty good team. When we go through the motions, anybody can beat us here.
Well, I would have to agree, Gavin. I think that your kids, the bench gave you a lift, and that's good. If you can get them the second half to think the same way and start where they left off, how do you get them to do that?
Yeah, I think it starts with our transition defense. We have given Boise State, now credit to them, they're running, they're answering. As soon as we make a bucket, they're running their lanes and they're looking for the first open shot they get. We've got to be able to sprint back into help defense and be able to mark up people so they don't get open looks in transition. Once we get them in the half court, we're defending pretty good in terms of our game plan. A few mishaps here and there, but again, it's decide. I want to decide to sprint back for my team. I want to decide to hit first to go rebound. That's all we got to do. We decide, we're going to be good.
All right, Gavin, thanks so much. We'll see if they decide to do it for you.
That's right. Thank you. Go Utes.
Go Utes, huh?
Utah with the lead, and the hot hands late in the second quarter, up 46-29 here on the home court against Boise State. Utah going for their 7th win of the season, and Boise State will try for their 9th, but we've got a feature for you, some stats and highlights when we return after this. Halftime in Salt Lake City here inside the Huntsman Center, and a lot of energy going on, both on and off the court. We've had a good one, a good surge late for the Utes. They've got the lead here at halftime. Glad you'll be with us. Chris Blanc alongside Elaine Elliott. And the pace was definitely favoring Boise State early on. They really came out and punched first. But I think Utah had a pretty good answer late.
I thought Boise State flat out took the game to them in the first half. And only the stretch that Utah responded with energy and intensity and at least matched what Boise brought. Were they able to get the run and extend the lead?
Yeah, I think really Lonnie White in particular has really been focused and ready to go from the get-go.
Well, I can tell you why I think Lonnie was so effective early, because Lonnie is an energy bunny anyway, all the time, every game, every minute she steps on the floor. She doesn't have to be convinced that she might need to play hard. So, that puts her in a position where she can equate the energy levels that they're giving her, and she's successful when a player does that.
She and L.A. Sneed with 10 points for her second start in her freshman season. But Boise State was lighting it up. 5 different players connecting on a 3 lane.
Well, they attempted 17 threes in the first half, and that is more than they usually attempt per an entire game. So I don't know whether they were interested in it ahead of time or honestly they just found the ability to run and their wings are open early in transition and they made it.
Yeah, they're actually winning the fast break points. It's not by a lot, but nonetheless, they're winning that category. As you take a look at the overall numbers, 2 Utes in double figures. There's the differential in the made threes. Boise State, the 7 of them, but Utah getting some looks inside. They've controlled the paint.
Yes, and that's a good sign for them because they've got to improve in the points in the paint. They can't always rely on a good night from 3, even though they're going to commit to that shot, which is fine, and that's their system. But they're showing a nice balance tonight.
They gave up just 10 points to Boise State in the second quarter and 17 bench points as well, with Snead in double figures leading the way. Third quarter after this. You're watching Big 12 Women's Basketball on ESPN+. Here on the campus of University of Utah, inside the Huntsman Center, and Utah with a big run late in the second quarter gives them the 47-29-point lead over Boise State. Mr. Blunt and Lane Ellie with you. Boise State comes in 8-1. They haven't faced any ranked teams yet, though, but nonetheless, a 5-game winning streak for a veteran team. They come in very confidently.
Yeah, and I think they've played that way in the first half.
Yeah.
I think they had the better approach to the game mentally, meaning I just think they expected to come in and do really well, and they did. That's what kept them in the game early.
See if they can get the shots going, and they do. That's the way things started. That's Maya Hansen with the 3 ball. Her 3rd of the game. She's got 9 points. It's a good start. That's exactly what you need coming out of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Reese Ross, I think, well, Reese Ross is back on the floor, so she's going to be playing in the second half after being out for those 2 fouls. Yeah. So that should be a benefit for Utah. One of the kids that I think is best defensively against Thompson for sure.
Gets her first points of the game. Yeah, picked up her second personal kind of early in the first quarter and had to sit the entire rest of the way. Trying to find the opening, the pivot around and won't drop. Tough break for Hutton on that one. Snead's
great offensive rebound by Snead. You know, that's the kind of rebounding down that you've got to get from your guards. I think that in the last couple of years, one of the strengths of this Utah team was the rebounding that their guards gave them. So we'll see if that's a good sign from Snead, because so much of the rebounding game is just go get the ball. And if you have one kid trying to work on a board situation and 4 kids just watching instead of coming to get what's inevitably going to be a free ball, probably.
Ross gets fouled going for an O-board right there. She's always going to give you the hustle on the glass.
She is. And her presence was missed on the glass in the first half for sure.
Ball tipped. And the Broncos come up with it. Really quiet first half for Danny Bays, the senior that averages 16 points a game. She did not score. But I'll tell you who can.
Well, everyone else just flat out took up the slack and is continuing to do so.
Hansen, the first Bronco in double digits. She has 12, 4 of 5 behind the arc for Hansen.
I mean, Utah really has got to force, they've got to force Boise State into some more of a post game and a paint game. I mean, they just can't keep letting them be open without more contest from the 3-point line, especially when you have the lead, especially when that's the way that a team behind can most quickly catch up.
Yep. Sure.
So we'll see whether or not they get closer to those shooters. Obviously not.
Pasco with a 3 as well. It's been all 3s for the Broncos to start the third quarter. And they pull within 11. And Gavin Peterson calls the timeout. He's got to make some adjustments.
Well, that adjustment's got to be get the ball on the floor a little bit more and quit letting them catch and shoot.
.60 run to start this one for the Broncos, thanks in big part to Hansen's 3-ball.
Well, she's looking good, and one of the things that I think is happening is their 3-point shots are happening with too much space. I mean, they're easy. They're not hard threes. They're not being forced to take the ball off the dribble someplace. What I call airtime, the ball is always moving. So if pass is airtime, a dribble is airtime, and every single time there's an airtime moment in this game, the defense should be moving. All 5 players should begin their movement. If you wait until a catch is made to then try to create a situation where you are going to defend the ball, you're always going to be late. Shots are going to be open. And I think that's one of the problems for Utah right now in terms of defending Boise State, is if they don't take them to a different level and take harder threes, Boise State has proven that they simply can score the 3.
Effort by Otto, who's checked into the game inside. She gets the layup. 7 points for her. So a good timeout called.
Well, nice offensive board and putback. And again, that's from a bench player and a freshman. And I think that's what Otto's going to give you, is that kind of interest in playing hard.
Jumper good on the baseline. That's Thompson. She's got a really pretty soft touch.
Well, she turns to that left shoulder, which is really a difficult way to take a standing turnaround jump shot because it's hard to get squared up. Honestly, I've never seen her take it to her right shoulder, so one of the things you want to hope that your defenders can do is understand that and shade that shoulder and not let her get squared up when she pivots that direction for that fadeaway, that turnaround jump shot.
11-point Utah lead, up by 22 at one point. That was a good look from Jumstad, no good. There's some effort from Otto on the O-boards. Quick crossover from Sneed, swatted from behind, and it's going to go against Bays. How about that quick crossover by L.A. Sneed? I like it.
She does nice things off the floor, off the dribble for sure. You know, one of the things that I think she'll add to her game is the ability on that last dribble to come to a scenario where she has some choices. If she doesn't get those foul calls, I think some of the reasons that she has trouble finishing sometimes is because she gets herself in tough situations. But that'll come, and that'll be part of the game that she increases her ability to play at the Division I level.
1 for 2 from the line for L.A. Sneed, the freshman out of San Antonio, Texas, 5-star recruit. She had a 52-point game in one of her high school games. Really something. Oh, a scoring point guard.
Right.
I love it.
Right. Well, her stamina is slowly improving.
Yeah.
And that's another piece of the Division I game that's just so different. The pace of the game is so much faster.
That's pretty typical, no matter
Absolutely.
what team you have.
Absolutely. I mean, it was just a transition for freshmen to make. And I think LA's game and her experience coming in was she understood how to get things for herself, didn't understand the context of the game beyond that. That just takes time, but she's blessed with, you know, good skill and good ability. And when she gains that Division I level mentality and understanding, I think that people will really be impressed with the all-around game that she'll probably possess by that point.
1 for 2 from the line for the senior Maya Hansen, who's got a new career high behind the arc with 4 made threes. She's 4 of 5 shooting, 13 points, but free throws have been a struggle, just 1 of 6 for the Broncos. That one looked good from White. Long rebound. Reese Ross, another chance. White rattles that one down. The extra effort paying off.
Reese Ross, okay. I think I did see Lonnie give her a little high five so she understands where that came from.
Hansen. High archer, had a decent look, no good. And the rebound, Ross trying to save it. Maybe got pushed.
See, one of the differences in that shot, if we saw it again, I think she had 2 defenders. There was just pressure on it. Down at our end with Reese Ross just keeping that ball alive. And that's what I mean when I talk about rebounding being just going and getting the ball.
5.5 left, third quarter. White, right wing, pretty. You could tell she was squared up on that one. She's feeling it. Sometimes she's having one of those nights.
Well, it's just so good to see the effort rewarded. I mean, she is playing hard all the time. And when that translates to also having a good offensive night, you know, it's fun for a player in that situation.
6-0 Utah run, thanks in big part to Lonnie White. She's got 20 points, a season high. And 4 for 4 behind the arc. Oh, back at you, Pasco with the answer.
It's a great job. That's just a great quick release. There's not much defensively to do about that. I thought the defender was there.
Pasco with her 4th made 3 of the game, and that moves her up with 218 career threes. Emily Howard back into the game. Transfer from Liberty. Lister at 6'5", gonna try to use some size, banks it up good, right at Otto.
I think their posts are really good when they get that pivot to the baseline side and get it up off the glass. If Utah, was forced into a really shutting down a post game, I think the key in terms of playing against Boise State is make their post game turn to the middle more and not have that nice soft shot up off the glass.
Now Howard really brings some length in there, as there's a pretty look from Sneed. Well, Sneed get into the action behind the arc.
Reese Ross with that steal, her energy is palpable. I mean, they missed her in the first half.
Yeah, they sure did. Had to sit the majority of the first quarter and all of the second.
And I can tell you one of the other keys to the energy issue tonight. Brooke Walker brings that every night as well. She is just really an energy player.
Yep.
And I think that her presence is missed.
Yeah, you're right about that. Ross with the bucket. Otto gets the assist. Utah 5 for their last 5 shots. Broncos pretty hot as well, 5 of their last 6. Double team, some help on Howard this time, off the mark. Ross got her legs under it. Beautiful backspin and the finish, and it forces the Broncos timeout. An 8-0 run for the Utes.
Reese has made a difference, her presence just in the second half. Just her energy, her effort levels are really good to see. And that kind of thing on the floor is something that people catch that. When you see somebody working that hard, you feel like you need to do the same.
At ESPN, it's when we partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for cancer research. This is a game-changing research that helps save lives. If you're able, give now at v.org/donate. 100% of donations go directly to cancer research. Just under 3 minutes left here in the third quarter inside the Huntsman Center. And for Boise State, 3-level scoring. You can kind of see the numbers tonight. They've had a tough time.
They've turned into a 1-level team tonight, and they're as good at it as you want to be. I mean, they're shooting 50% at this point from 3-point range, and when you're feeling it and when you're also open, they haven't had to take it off the dribble from the 3-point line and pull up because they've been comfortable and open enough at 3.
They've had a much better third quarter than they did second, but Utah went on an 8-0 run before the timeout, and they've extended the lead back out to their largest, up by 22, and now trying to push. Otto gets her shot blocked. Nice
well, Reese Ross is the one again who comes up with that offensive rebound because it's out of area, and she's the only white shirt I see moving to the ball like that.
Help D coming over. Jada Lewis checking into the game. Saw her a little bit in the first half. Foul's gonna go against Avery Jelmstad. Her first personal, second on the team. White's gonna take a seat. Foster back on for Utah. Great hands from L.A. Sneed. And continues to try to push.
Well, she's tied with Maddie Wilkie over the last 3 games for most steals on the team.
High to low. Otto's got great vision in the high post. Another assist for her. That's her 4th.
You know, Utah has done a better job of connecting with that high-low game. And I think one of the differences there is the angle of that pass. The catch that Otto found on one elbow, she had an angle to throw over the top instead of being directly above that post kid that's trying to get it over the top. And I think that's a good thing to see, because I think they're going to be a lot more successful with better passing angles.
Utah losing it. 10-0 run, though, going. Minute and a half left, third quarter. Danny Bays has had a tough evening. Senior out of Brisbane, Australia. Averages 16 a game, and she has not scored. 0 for 8 shooting for Bays. They've had her number.
If she has had a tough night, and it happens.
Yeah.
She'll just burn it up the next game, I'm sure.
They're going to be moving into Mountain West play before the holiday breaks here in December. Utah still a couple of non-conference games before they head into Big 12 play.
Yeah, they start earlier. I guess must have to do with the numbers. They probably have just enough that they play a full round robin, maybe, so they have a few more conference games.
Gordy Presnell's team picked 4th in the preseason. I think they're going to be competitive.
I mean, there's a good example of what we're talking about in terms of the defender is on the three-point shot, so forces her to play off the dribble instead of getting the catch and shoot. And off the dribble, you have to make another play or another play, another pass, and they turned it off other than it did go off a Utah player.
Minute left, third quarter. And the Broncos nowhere to go and stepping on the inline. Turnover by Pasco. Turnovers have been fairly low. 9 for the Utes, 6 for Boise State. And Boise State averages about 18 a game. They forced 19. Utah averaging about 17. That's been a problem at times for.
Well, it has overall, but again, in this last 3-game stretch where, I think they came off those really tough games and the first 6 learning games. The last 3 games, those numbers have, they've gone from 20 to 11 per game in the last 3, which is a major improvement and also a big key for them before they get to Big 12 play.
Yeah, those are those areas that they'll look at and say, we are getting better. We're getting better in areas that are going to be crucial once we hit conference play.
They look at their roster with the amount of minutes that their young kids are playing, and they're trying to blend so many young players with the experience. That just takes time. And you have to keep their spirits up. They took a couple of lumps, but against very good teams, and I just don't think that's been a problem for them, and you can see it in their improved play.
You sure can. Foster with the penetration in, kicks it out to Sneed for the 3, a new career high for L.A. Sneed, but an answer at the other end, the bucket for Garza.
Boise State's bench has done a nice job. They've been playing a little more minutes than I've seen in the past as well, and they have answered the call.
They really have. Sneed, that one's short. Offensive rebound, trying to get another shot off, but that will do it.
Good knowledge of the clock.
Utah with 10 made threes. They are undefeated when they've hit 10 or more threes this season. They got one more quarter to go. A 13-2 run. We'll see if they can keep going here on the home court. Fourth quarter action when we return. In the first half, Reese Ross did not score. That's not been the case in the third quarter, though, Elaine.
She has changed the game in this second half. Getting her back on the floor for the Utes is really important. Certainly her energy levels matter first and foremost, but she just has turned it on. She's scored and rebounded. Has gone to the ball in situations where, it means a difference between a possession or not. She's been the finisher on the high-low game. Really nice passing angles that Utah has created to her. So you can really see the impact that she has on the game and the idea that they do need to keep her on the floor.
Yeah, 9 points, all of them in the third quarter. 4 of her 6 rebounds in the third quarter. A steal, a block, and then the high pick roll couldn't hang on, and they'll say it's off of her, and she's begging for the appeal.
I think she's right.
Yeah.
I don't know what they'll do. Hard to say. No, it's clear. Well, yeah, I don't know.
The officials talking it over. Brendan Mantoa, Roy Gobayan, and Kyle Bacon, our trio tonight. Yeah, I think it was off the leg of Pasco. Foster gets the start this quarter, and so does Cameron Mafua. 6th game of the season for Cameron Mafua, the sophomore, and I actually really liked her effort when we saw her in the first half.
She had a nice run of time in the first half. They needed her as well, so it's nice to see a new face get some minutes and some productive ones.
I think it's going to be important for Coach Peterson to be able to go a little deeper into the bench at times, and especially, as you said, no Brooke Walker, hoping to get her back soon. Nice up and under and finish, though, from Evans there.
I think that's what Gavin's hoping is going to, be a little bit more of as the season goes on with Kyra, because she really does have the size. She really does have the skill set.
Yeah.
So getting that post presence, that post threat, when you really just need to get an easier basket, is going to be helpful for them.
Sure is. Junior out of Newcastle, Australia. The transfer from Michigan last year, but had to sit out with the ankle surgery. And Lonnie White comes down with that missed.
Well, I mean, give credit to Reese again. She's the one who kept that ball alive, and it ended up in Lonnie's hands, but it was Reese Ross that knocked it away in the first place.
Oh, you're right. Travel call on the Utes. We'll give it back to the Broncos. Utah picked 8th in the preseason in the Big 12. I think a lot of question marks this year with a lot of new pieces for Gavin Peterson. A couple of transfers, the 4 freshmen.
I do think that's certainly a fair placement.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions, and it's going to be a step up in overall week-to-week competition as well.
Good box out there by Evans, and jump ball though to go to the Broncos. Utah's bench has been big. They're averaging 23 points a game. And this is the 6th time this season that they've gotten to that point. Oh, the no look from White, but a hesitation from Evans.
Well, it wasn't the best situation to put Kyra in.
Yeah, she had the defender right there on her.
But went off the defender, but kind of lucky in that one.
Utes will get a couple of days of practice, and then they'll have Northwestern coming in on Sunday. We're going to have that one for you as well, 2 o'clock start. Evans steps it out, gets it. Her first made 3 of the game.
I think that's another space in her game that when she gets more comfortable, she can hit the 3. I mean, that's a pretty shot.
Sure is.
She has not been real successful in the preseason, but I know Gavin is perfectly happy with having her shoot it. And there will be a game when that's one of those dagger 3s.
Yeah, I see her practicing it a lot in practice and shoot-arounds, but she had only taken 7 prior to that one.
Right.
And just not something that she's really incorporated a lot, but it's pretty when it goes.
Number 9 checks back in. Utah ball down the baseline.
We saw Maddie Wilkie start this second half after going down and getting hit in the first half in her shoulder, and you could tell though she wasn't feeling quite right. She kind of kept working on the right shoulder, and she has not been back out there since.
I don't actually even see her on the bench. I'm assuming that probably they have a doc on hand that might be taking a look at things.
Yeah, something wasn't quite right, so we certainly hope it's nothing serious and that she'll be able to work through it, but
right.
Not what you want to see. Another player without Brooke Walker down as well. And that's experience for Gavin Peterson, too. 2 key experienced players.
Exactly. They're both critical,
Yeah.
let's just be honest. And so with Brooke, she'll be back, and it's just one of the things that happens with athletes, kind of have to clean some things up sometimes in the joints, but we certainly are hopeful that Maddie or any player who does get hurt, it's just something that's, isn't going to keep him out.
You got that right.
More safety than anything.
Maldonado's checked in, another freshman, one of 6 for the Broncos. Out of Anchorage, Alaska. That move at the other end was nice. It was a quick pass from Ross into Evans, who had posted up. White into the D, knocked out of play.
That's a situation off that dribble drive there that oh, nice. Well, in terms of the last turnover with Lonnie, I mean, you get there, you need to be in control there and be able to simply jump stop and not go up on the shot there. She drew help. Now you become a passer.
Got a break, though, with 15 on the clock. They get the inbound. Ross with the cut. Give, go, kick it out. Sneed back in. Gives it up to Mafua. Pretty shot.
That is a beautiful offensive possession for Utah. Shared the ball, kept making the extra pass and the player at the end who finishes with the 3 just is like, thank you, because we did everything right, and now we can be really happy.
Mafua with big play off the bench, the sophomore from Folsom, California. She's got 8 points, 2 of 3 behind the arc. Layup short for the Broncos. It's going to stay there, though. The extra pass. Sneed gave it up, gave it right to Mafua. Again, just her 6th game. I like that she's getting some minutes and getting some transferred in from Cal this past season.
And LA played the point guard there and said, no, you can have it.
Yeah.
I'm open, you're more open.
Largest lead of the game for the Utes, 6.5 left. Trying to get a bit closer. And just can't get it. Portrading off the mark. Evans just hanging out inside. Too much size and strength. Pasco, she's got 4 threes in the game. Oh, nice fake going left and get it over the line. That's Hutton.
That's a nice move by Hutton. I really like to see that. Just again, just a nice, short, little, small handoff fake, smooth drive to the rim. Those seniors are fun to watch.
They really are. Stedman back on. Hutton to the stripe. Sophomore from Perth, Australia. A few Aussies on this Broncos team. And again, the free throws are perplexing. A 74% free throw shooting team, and they average 15 a game, but just 1 of 7 from the stripe tonight.
That is really interesting. They're really a very nice shooting team. And they have showed the ability to hurt people at the free throw line. They've also gotten to the free throw a lot comparative to their opponents. Even tonight, they have attempted over 80 more free throws in 9 games than the Utes have taken.
Evans short on a 3. White, hustle play, another chance. Jumpstead trying to lose the D. They are right on her. Pasco. Here's White, another one. 5 for 5 for Lonnie White.
That's a night. That's somebody who's feeling it right there.
23 points for Lonnie White, ties her career high.
Well, 5 for 5 for her from 3. I mean, that's not the strongest piece of her game. Her percentage actually has been one of the lower ones on the, that rotation of top 7. But 5 for 5 night will help that.
Josie Stedman off the bench gets another 3. That's the player you hadn't scouted behind the arc. Elaine, we'll have to do that next game.
Yeah, it's my bad is what it is.
Well, 0 for 2 coming into this one. Who knew? As White tries to get the layup there. 4:47 left in the game. Utah with a big lead here at home. Season high for Kyra Evans. She has 15 points. She's really come on as of late.
She's having a good one, and I think actually talking to Gavin, he thought she was going to have a good night. Had a good day of practice, a good week of practice. She's getting offensive rebounds. She's hitting the three.
Yeah.
And one of the things that she has to do is finish that one-on-one move inside, because if teams have to stay pressed out against shooters, and she knows that she has room to go take dribbles to a move in the post, those are her chances to really hurt people in the paint.
Yeah, 3 of her 8 rebounds are offensive rebounds.
I mean, the real change Boise State offensively, as Avery gets that steal, is the ball is on the floor a lot more now.
Yeah.
Utah's pressed out and forced them to do a little bit more on the floor and not just catch and shoot. And so those numbers from 3 have diminished a little bit.
Deflection by Stedman, but too much on it from Lewis. And a turnover will give it back to the Utes. Now some full court pressure from the Broncos. Ellie Sneed with a career high, 17 points tonight, coming off of her, what was her career high of 16, and there's another 3. That's Jumstad with the bucket.
She's kind of Maddie Wilkie mini there in terms of just the quickness that she's got in her shot, the readiness. She's really, I'm assuming worked on that. She always looked like that was going to be a good, strong part of her game, but she started the season pretty slowly from 3. And I think a lot of it was just the setup and the pre-catch routine, and she now looks very comfortable with that quick release.
First-time recruit out of Edmond, Oklahoma. There's a nice little drive and floater inside from Maldonado, one of 6 freshmen for this Broncos team.
Well, these are going to be good minutes, too, that they're getting here. He is playing his bench quite a bit, and that's going to go a long ways for getting through a conference season.
I mean, that's really part of this time of year, right?
It is.
You gotta have.
It is. You have to be sure that you create options for yourself. You can't ask the same kids to win every single night. It gets really tough if they don't, if they can't, when you have a couple 3 players that are averaging really high minutes and really high scoring totals. But this is going to benefit Boise in that regard, and their bench, I thought, has played very well tonight.
Yeah, I think they have as well. This is the sophomore, Libby Hutton, getting to the line. Another good young player for this team. Played in 30 games last year. Reese Ross is going to take a seat.
Reese has had a good second half. I'm glad to see her come back after sitting that long.
Melissa Blank checks into the game for Utah, her 4th game of the season. Walk-on, redshirt junior. Collision on the free throw lane. And Sam Crisp kind of holding the left knee, knocked to the floor.
I am surprised that this game has gotten away from Boise. I know that I really anticipated that this would be a pretty good, evenly contested match. And I think in so many ways it was at so many times in the game. Sometimes you look back and you kind of don't know where it went wrong. It sort of just happens in quick spurts. But I do think that Boise State is a good team as they're going to see in the Mountain West Conference, and I think they're going to have a great season.
Yeah, I do as well. It can definitely cause some problems for teams, certain matchups. Skip across, shot from Blank, no good, and the long rebound, nobody back. Broncos and Maldonado trying to push. Oh, draws some contact. She's going to the line.
Just about got that to go, too.
She knew that she was making contact here.
There was a lot of contact, and she almost put that in.
Foul number 3 in the 4th quarter.
Toughness from Sneed also. Foul's going to go on her. That's her 3rd.
Maldonado at the line, shooting 2.
I'm looking over at the Utah bench, and it's just so thin now.
Yeah.
Maddie's not even on the bench.
Wilkie not there, yeah.
Still not back, and it's a little scary to see that.
Yeah. Brooke Walker in street clothes.
Yeah, Brooks in street clothes, so they're a little thin, but I think they're, tonight's an example of Cameron hasn't seen a lot of minutes, and she's forced into action, and I think she's done a really nice job.
Yeah. Akura couldn't keep the foot down, travel. Give it back. And it appears as though Utah will get their 7th win of the season. And they'll await Northwestern on Sunday. They've also got UC Riverside after that. And they go to Arizona. That's going to be a tough one.
That's their opener in the Big 12.
At Arizona, and then Arizona State and TCU will follow.
I think TCU's top 10 or close to it right now.
Yeah. Turnover. Back to the Broncos with 2 minutes remaining. And Blank with the takeaway.
That turnover down at the end of the Utes is all the guards' fault. You know, they ask too much of big post kids to get down and try to catch bounce passes under their knees 2 feet away from the drive lane. So, again, I think those are all things that LA will improve on as well.
Bua had another good look around and won't drop. Minute and a half left. Good to get home and get on your home court. Good to get some wins on the road. The win at Montana and Colorado State, and then get it done in front of the home fans. It's their third 30-plus win on the season.
I think this is one of the more explosive games I've seen from them at home, and one of the better shooting nights, honestly.
Solid assist to field goals made as well. 25 assists tonight for Utah and 37 makes. And I thought they were working the ball around. They went on some big runs, and I think that's where there were times where it felt like Boise State was right in it, but yet a 10-0 run by Utah, and they weren't.
It did happen quick in that regard, in bursts that were a little bit, now where'd that come from?
Yeah, a little deceiving on the feel of this one. Otto inside, can't get the angle. But a nice balanced team effort. I mean, everybody getting involved. And big rebounding, much needed for this Utah team, especially on the offensive end.
Well, that's the best offensive rebounding effort, numbers-wise, that we've seen. Last look I had, we had 19 offensive rebounds, which is well above what they average, I think, and also, I guess, yeah, we said their best of the season.
Yeah, the season high was 16.
You know, when you can create that many more possessions for yourself and have a good offensive night in other areas, and you rebound well and you don't turn it over a lot. They also had low turnovers tonight. That's you know, you're at 91 points instead of 61.
Yeah, that's a big difference. Crowd appreciating it. And Utah will go to 7-3 on the season. And it stops a 5-game win streak for the Broncos. Well, Coach Peterson said, he told the team, you got to decide. I think they made a decision in the second half when they came back out.
You know, you find yourself using that word even when you're sort of analyzing things. You talk about Reese Ross. Well, you just, well, yeah, I guess you decided to go get the ball. I mean, it sounds pretty simple, and guess what? It really can be very simple. As much as there's a lot of things to do in this game that are complicated, that take understanding and feel, and you can play hard anytime you choose. And that's something that Gavin found himself having to get on him about.
Well, it paid off. And a career high for L.A. Sneed in her second career start. 4 assists as well for her. And 3 for 6 behind the arc. Ronnie White was red hot, 23 points. 5 of 5 behind the three-point arc.
That's the best three-point shooting that she's certainly had all year.
Yep.
And that's a confidence boost because that part of her game hasn't been as good as the others. And if she can have nights like that and really believe in it, certainly have games where she just flat out gets hot, I think that's going to really go a long ways to help the Utes as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a lot of what they want to do, and so you need some others to build their confidence, to be part of the three-point barrage.
That was a three-point. That was a clinic.
Right there.
That was a clinic on both ends from both teams. I mean, that was a lot of nice shooting, especially that first half was about as good as it gets. I mean, you're looking, one team shoots 50%. Boise State comes in and shoots 50% on the first half, and Utah answers with 45% in the first half, which thankfully for them, they're able to stay with them during that stretch.
Yeah, second quarter in particular, both teams were are pretty winded, and they couldn't even get subs in to help them out, but the threes just kept coming. But yeah, 14 makes for Utah, 12 makes for Boise State, but a lot of big hustle plays and points really making the difference. 30 second chance points off 19 offensive rebounds.
That's also a real plus stat to look at for the Utes as well.
Yeah, I like the hustle points and the control in the second half for the Utes as they get the win and they move to 7-3 overall back here at home. And
You're okay? You're with us, all right.
We are joined by LA Sneed. LA, new career high for you. Congratulations on your second career start. Talk us through a little bit about how you're feeling about your game and what's kind of clicking and starting to come together for you.
I feel like my teammates give me a lot of confidence, and my mentality changed. It had a quick switch after we played, I think, Montana, and then we have a lot of people going out right now as guards, so I knew I had to step up for my team, and that's what I've been doing.
Well, it's really fun to watch, LA. You come in here as a freshman point guard. You know you're going to have to step it up early on. Now you are it for a while, and your response has just been great. What has been the one thing or two things that has happened since just in the last two games when you're thrown into a starter's role that you think has really something that you're really proud of?
My shooting, for sure. I feel like my confidence from three has been significant. I know I put the work in for sure, especially in practice. Gavin's always telling me to shoot the ball, and that's what I've honestly been doing, and I feel like that's been translating to the game for sure.
Yeah, 3 of 6 tonight. You had only connected on 3 the entire season so far, but being able to score and run the point as well, what a great combination that can be. Talk us through a little bit with a lot of new pieces to this team. You're one of those. And now, as a point guard, are you able to become more of a vocal leader? Who's kind of that player that whenever coach was saying, you guys have to decide, who's stepping up and talking on this team?
I feel like Lonnie, for sure. She's definitely our leader on the team. But also they motivate the freshmen and anybody as well to be a leader as well. And I feel like I've been a leader, not vocal-wise, but for sure just by my actions on the court. And that's been translating to the games. And then taking over the starting spot as Brooke went out, I feel like that's been a significant thing for sure. And I just feel like everybody's a leader in their own ways on our team. So I think that's what makes us different from a lot of people.
We have 2 more games until you really reach the big time. Big 12 action. Got some nice top 20 teams in the league that you can try to bring down. So what's the enthusiasm? What's the feeling? What's the thought process in soon starting your first Big 12?
I'm excited. This is something I've been waiting for a very long time. And I feel like I've always waited for this moment for sure. And Big 12 has always been a conference that I thought was one of the most competitive. So being able to play in it is a big thing for me. And I'm just ready. I'm just excited. And I think we have a lot to prove to everybody. And I feel like people underestimate us, and we have a lot to show.
Little chip on your shoulder's not so bad, huh? Good for you.
I think you're absolutely right. Well, congratulations, new career high.
Thank you so much.
Couple days of practice, and then we'll see you on Sunday for Northwestern.
Thank you so much.
All right, LA Sneed and the Utah Utes, they get the win tonight here on the home court with the career high to the freshman point guard, Sneed with 17 points. A good outing. We'll see what they can do on Sunday.
Well,
but, a lot of things to be positive about, Elaine.
Yeah, you know you're going to take what you can from it, and then you have to step up and play the next one.
That's going to do it for us from Salt Lake City. For Elaine Elliott, I'm Krista Blunt. So long from the Huntsman Center, Utah. Big win here at home. All games airing on ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Good night from Salt Lake. We'll see you on Sunday.